Okay. Does anyone have a nut allergy? I grabbed the wrong snacks. I was thinking if someone had a nut allergy, we could have the chocolate-covered strawberry. But I got only 2 things of nuts. Nuts. Drat. Well, the clock is broken. I guess we just won't time ourselves. That means it could be an hour or less. Hello, welcome. Hi, come on in. Welcome. Welcome to the Padmasambhava Meditation Center. Hi, come on in. Come on in. Welcome. Take a seat, any seat. Perfect. Yeah. Welcome. Welcome to everyone this evening who braved the snowstorm. I guess it's not really a blizzard yet. It's not expected, just a little flurries. You Colorado people are hardy when it comes to weather. I came from California, and just like a tiny bit of rain causes massive clogged highways. But they've been getting a lot of rain, which is good, right? We need that. My name is Christina Monson, and I am one of the teachers here at the Padmasambhava Meditation Center. So, welcome to everybody. Is anybody here for the very first time? Yeah, great. We love when people come for the first time. Welcome. Where are you guys from?
We're going to school at DU.
Okay, at DU. Yeah, what are you studying?
Sports psychology.
Sports psychology. So the minds of athletes?
Yes.
Are you an athlete?
Kind of. I do triathlons.
He does triathlons. Yes, all right. We're going to have a triathlon meditation session tonight in honor of our triathlete. That's exciting. Hi, Stacy. Welcome. And what is your good name?
Nico.
Nico, welcome. And you?
My name's Kate, and I'm in the same program.
And
I'm not a triathlete.
you're not a triathlete,
No.
but you're studying the psychology of athletes. Are you an athlete as well?
I used to be. I mean, I guess you always are, but I used to be more like high performing, I guess, than I am now.
Okay. What was your sport of choice? Or sports?
Soccer and then rowing.
Wow. Great. So, with a degree in sports psychology, then do you coach athletes? What do you do?
Not entirely. You help more the athletes deal with all their on-the-field and off-the-field issues, and a lot of times help them with coaches themselves. So.
Cool. So you help the athletes with their minds.
Yes.
Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah. So, do you teach the meditation?
No, but we've just been in the program for 1 quarter.
Okay.
But we have seen a lot of like mindfulness and meditation.
Yeah.
And being used. So we wanted to get to know it a bit more.
Great. Yeah. Wonderful. That's such a nice reason to come. I saw did 2 other people just walk in? No? I just thought I saw two other people. No, okay. All right. Is anybody here an experienced meditator? Kind of, yeah? Yeah? What kind of meditation have you been doing? Is it Katie or Kate?
Either one.
Yeah.
Like MBSR. Kate, could you use the mic so the people who are watching online? Oh, people are watching this? Yes.
We're live streamed.
Hello, world. I have taken like a MBSR course, like an 8-week, and then did a full day of silence. And that's shocking for me because I talk a lot. But I actually found it very restorative and was like, I could do this for a couple more days. It was amazing.
Wow.
But I'm sure there's people here that have done more than that.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Welcome to the new people that just joined us. Come on in. Yeah. Take a seat, any seat. You can even sit in the front row. You're welcome. We're just doing a little bit of introduction. Some people are new and it's their first time. Is this your first time here? Welcome. What's your name? Lily? Okay, wonderful. What's that? Yeah, we're very happy to have you. And what's your name? Leah? Welcome. How old are you? 15? Mm-hmm. Are you a meditator? It's your first time. That's great. Thank you for coming. Yeah, to try something new. And who's sitting behind you? Hi. What's your name? Hi, Danny. You seem really far in the back. Do you want to move up closer? Cool. How old are you? 10? Wow. And have you meditated before?
Well, in school, like, we kind of just, like, close your eyes. It's like, because my teacher has a little bowl thing.
Yeah, like this?
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
And he rings in the morning and we meditate for a minute.
Wow, great. You know, I was looking for someone tonight to be the bowl hitter. Do you want to do that? Yes. Cool. So why don't you come sit here? And you can sit on this one, or you can also take a round one if you want. Yeah, whichever one is comfortable for you. So you're in charge of the bowl tonight, okay? And I will give you the cues when to bang it, okay? So is anyone here allergic to nuts? Okay, so you have your pick. You can take a pecan, take one nut, or a pistachio. The pistachios are coming that way, the pecans are coming this way. Just take one and hold it in your hand first. We're going to do a little experiential, sensory-based introduction to meditation. Feel the weight of the nut in your hand. You can feel the texture of the nut. You could also have 2 nuts if you wanted. You could have a pecan and a pistachio. But probably best just to have one. Okay, does everyone have a nut? No, you're going to get a pistachio. Okay. Yes. Some of us do have preferences. Yes, we do. Good. All right. Now, what I'm going to ask you to do, oh, you missed them. Okay, great. Got a pistachio. Is to, first and foremost, sit up straight. And if you're sitting on a chair, sitting on the floor, it doesn't matter at all. Just be in a really comfortable position. So almost like somebody pulled a string on top of your head to kind of pull your spine up straight and then let go of the string so that you also then just kind of settle a little bit down. So your body's upright, but you're not forcing it and holding it rigid. And that's a really important part of meditation, to hold our body upright so that our breath moves freely up and down. And the next thing I'm going to ask you all to keep in mind tonight is to keep your eyes open. Sometimes, and some traditions of meditation do focus on keeping the eyes closed, but here in the tradition that we practice, and the way that I've been trained, we keep the eyes open. So we're not shutting out the sensory world at all. And so in terms of your gaze, you can just kind of calculate maybe like a foot or like this distance kind of in front of your nose. And there's just space right out there in front of you. And you just want to rest your eyes kind of in that space. Not really focusing on anything in particular, but naturally your eyes might just lock on to some point, which is fine. You don't need to really worry about that. So your head and your neck are just slightly down. So that's kind of a key point of your gaze and your eyes. We're going to do some different things with the breath, but for right now, with your breath, you don't do anything special. You're breathing through your mouth, just as you normally would. So we're going to just take a second and kind of settle ourselves into sitting upright and straight on our mat, letting our breath just kind of be completely natural, keeping our eyes open, but our gaze just kind of in front of us, in space. And we're just gonna sit here like that, breathing naturally, not too fast, not too slow, for how long do you think? How long should we do it?
Maybe 3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay, perfect. So on the count of 3, then you hit that. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Great. How was that? How was that?
It was good.
It was good? Yeah? What was good about it?
Just hit the sound of the hitting the gong. Just relaxing.
It's relaxing, yeah. The sound of the gong is relaxing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. How about other people? Anything you noticed about your mind or your body? You were part of the room. You were appreciating the beauty of the room. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so awareness, you're completely aware of the environment. Mm-hmm.
It's nice to be very quiet. Our world is so busy with so much noise. The input is sometimes overwhelming. It's nice to have a space where there's just quiet.
Yeah, Neil's saying it's nice to just be quiet.
Be quiet.
It is, because our world is pretty busy and full of a lot of noise. It sure is nice to be quiet. I remember when I was first starting a practice of sitting meditation, one time I said to a spiritual friend who was giving me some guidance, I just don't have any time to think. I really wish I could just I need some time to think. And she said to me, is that what you need? Are you not thinking most of the time? And then I realized, in fact, that what I was longing for was some time to, in fact, let my thoughts settle down so that I could have a different kind of relationship with them. So what we just did right now, I would say, is kind of the preliminaries to meditation, to a session of meditation. So you just kind of become present in your body, sitting on the floor. You've come from the speed of your day, or maybe you're still waking up in the morning, depending on what time of day you decide to do it. So it's really, you just kind of settle in and relax yourself and let the mind just kind of be however it is in that moment. I would call that just like settling down and getting ourselves in a mode to actually do some meditation practice. So tonight, I'm going to practice with you all 2 kinds of meditation. And it sounds like a lot of you have some experience with different forms of these. And as we know today, mindfulness is very, very popular. Mindfulness has also been recognized, as you were saying, to have a lot of benefits, such as lowering stress, helping us really deal with our emotions more skillfully through seeing more clearly what's going on, and essentially to be more present with our experience. So the 2 kinds of meditation that I'm going to talk about tonight, and we're going to practice together, are very much connected. The first is called peaceful abiding, shamatha meditation. And it's something that anybody can do. You don't have to believe any particular religious tradition. You don't have to be following any particular spiritual path to do it. Sitting is something anybody can do anytime. Hello, welcome. Hi, come on in. So the, I would say, key point of this peaceful abiding or shamatha meditation is that we have some kind of focal point that we hold very gently. What I'm going to introduce you tonight is a way of working with the breath as a focal point. And the way that we do that is we bring our attention to our exhale. And we just go out with our exhale and disappear just as it does. And you don't have to worry about inhaling because your body knows how to inhale naturally your lungs. Take another breath. So when we just were settling ourselves, who was having thoughts? Yeah. So, what do you do with your thoughts? What do you do with your thoughts when you meditate?
I just kind of relax, thinking of what's gonna happen today. What should I do? How should I plan everything out?
Mm-hmm.
And just get like everything ready for the day.
Get everything ready for the day in your mind? Mm-hmm. Yeah, that sounds like you use that opportunity to kind of get yourself focused and ready. That's great. That's a really great use of meditating. Mm-hmm. How about other people? What do you do with your thoughts? John?
Well, I'm constantly trying to stop them, of course, which is impossible.
Right.
I'm pretty sure.
Thank you. Thank you for that honesty. Anyone else trying to stop their thoughts? Yeah.
Be curious.
You're curious about your thoughts. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sometimes all of a sudden it's like, oh, I am thinking. What am I thinking? Oh, let me see what I am thinking. What are
Mhm.
my thoughts telling me?
Mm-hmm.
And just let them go.
Yeah.
Just be curious and let them go.
Great. Yep. Mm-hmm. Other techniques. I see some smiles back there for dealing with thinking. Anybody?
Well, when I'm trying to like meditate and really center myself, I keep thinking about how much I'm thinking and how I need to stop thinking, but I can't stop thinking about thinking, so it's really hard for me to stop.
Yeah, that's it. I'm thinking, wait, no, I'm thinking that I'm thinking. Oh my gosh, I just thought that I'm thinking that I'm thinking. Yeah, yeah, thanks for that. I'm sure that we've all done a bit of that. Mm-hmm. So here's, I would say, one way of dealing with thinking and the natural activity of mind in this practice of just shamatha or peaceful abiding meditation, and that is to pay no mind to the thinking. So sometimes when I hear, the word mindfulness, and I won't get into the roots of that in different Asian languages, but in this practice of sitting meditation, it's actually not really being full of mind. It's actually letting the mind just naturally become more spacious. It's kind of, we're always full of mind, actually. We're minding things. But here, when you notice you're thinking, as you will, because the natural quality of mind is that there's thought activity, we just don't own the thoughts, we don't follow them. So some of the metaphors we use are like clouds in the sky, and all thoughts are the same that way. Good thoughts, bad thoughts, in-between thoughts, and the emotions connected to them too. So it's not that we're unaware, we're very aware that there's thinking, and yet, as soon as we notice it, what do? We bring our attention back to the exhale, the out breath. And we just go out with that. And then it ends. It just dissolves into space. So we go out with that and we dissolve just as it does. And then we notice we're thinking again and we bring ourselves back gently, not like a Mack truck. Just gently the attention comes back to the out breath and it goes out and it disappears, and there's that beautiful gap of just. And so we're just bringing our attention, and I say gently because we don't want to over focus on it and become tight with our attention on it. Sometimes you might meet somebody whose meditation practice seemingly has made them a little bit more rigid. So we find that sweet spot in between being alert but relaxed. It's the lovely story of the Buddha giving meditation instruction to his disciple who was a guitar player. And he taught him by saying, how do you make the most beautiful sound come out of your vina, or your stringed guitar instrument? And the musician said, yeah, it's when the strings are not too tight and they're not too loose. And then it's really the most beautiful sound. So that's what we're aiming to find as well. So we have our attention alert, gently following the exhale, and paying no mind to all of the things that are arising in the mind. Because when we don't really pay attention to them, then just like the exhale, they don't have the power to stay. When we feed our thinking, it grows. So, how long do you think we should try this time?
Let's do 4 minutes now.
Okay, so we're going to do 4 minutes now, and now we're going to use that technique with the breath. So just keeping the same posture as we did before, upright but relaxed. Now we're going to bring our attention gently, using the exhale as a support. Yes. How was that?
What if I speak up?
Okay, you can speak up, and I'll repeat what you say. We have people joining us online.
Hello? Well, there's certainly something very empowering by this technique that for many of us, we're almost ruled by our thoughts, where they just keep coming, and it's impossible to shut them off. But here, we take charge of them, and we actually, well, to be a little extreme, we discard them. We let them find and dissolve, as you said. So it's a very, it's a strong feeling that you are in charge of the moment. And that's a very good feeling also, because in our world, all we're doing is thinking, essentially. And it's a very nice feeling to know that you have a moment where you have a technique to just have those thoughts dissolve away from you, and you don't have to be overruled by them.
Thank you. Yeah, that's for sure. I'd like to think of it as making a different relationship with our mind. Sometimes our thoughts are so quick, and there's so many of them, and because we don't often take the opportunity to be quiet and to settle, we're not necessarily even aware of that. And sometimes when we first start to practice, and we take the time to slow down and be in silence and in our body, then it seems like we're having even more thinking than we had before. Or the mind seems just so wild. And maybe there's not even like 3 seconds where you felt that you were kind of settled in a non-conceptual state. I think that's pretty natural. And in some ways, it's just a reflection of finally starting to look at the mind and see the thinking that's usually there all the time. So not at all a bad sign. In fact, if you're like me, at least, you have judgments about yourself and your practice of meditation. So you might think, that was like a really good session of meditation. I was very calm and peaceful. And then if I'm just like, I'm planning what I'm going to do tomorrow and what I'm going to have for dinner and what I said to this person and what I need to do there, I'm thinking that was a really bad session of meditation. But actually, cultivating a non-judgmental attitude towards oneself is a key part of the practice as well. So that whatever arises in the mind, we don't judge it, because judging is just another thought. So it's just like your beautiful insight, adding more thoughts onto thinking this, judging our thoughts, it's all the same. Yeah. So this practice, shamatha, is likened to letting a glass of cloudy water, muddy water, just settle. So that when all of the dust or mud settles down to the bottom of a glass, then we start to develop tremendous clarity in the mind. So after a while, the thinking does settle down, and that takes some time. And as it does, the mind becomes more and more, we could say, sharp, clear. And then we can move into the second technique that I'm going to introduce to you tonight, and we call this insight or vipassana. That's also translated sometimes from the Tibetan language as seeing further. So just to start practicing this now, does anybody not have a nut? Newcomers, do you like pecans or pistachios? Or do you have a nut allergy?
No.
Okay, which one would you like to have?
Pistachio.
Okay, and we can hand to your, is it your mom? Are you here with your mom? Oh yeah, you have. And you have one too? Yeah, okay. Does anyone not have a nut? Did you get a nut? Okay, so let's, would you like a pistachio or a pecan? Everyone should just have a nut. Some nut. Something to put in your mouth, basically. Okay. So now, what I'm going to ask you to do is, not right now, but when I tell you, you're going to put the nut in your mouth, and you're going to just feel the texture of the nut in your mouth. You're going to start to sense your saliva coming as the flavor of the nut comes in your mouth. You're going to completely focus all of your attention on all of the sensations of the nut in your mouth as you slowly crunch down on it. And does anyone practice that art of, like, what is it, 35 chews to each bite of food before you swallow it? I don't do that. You don't need to chew it 35 times. But chew it several times longer than you ordinarily would. Okay? So, this is going to be meditation of eating a nut. Okay? Full attention on the nut. Ready? Begin. Now become aware that you are sitting in this hall eating a nut. And you can swallow whenever you wish. So, Vipassana meditation is also, I would say, is perhaps more than shamatha, the tradition that has inspired mindfulness meditation. It's really a question of being completely present and aware of what we're saying, what we're doing, where we are in each moment. So the shamatha part of it is one-pointed focus concentration on the nut. Nothing else exists except that nut. Everything is concentrated and focused. And then suddenly, you see more. You're aware fully that you're sitting here in a group of people eating a nut in this Introduction to Meditation Thursday night at the Padmasambhava Meditation Center in South. So in a second, all the other aspects that your consciousness can be aware of is brought in right then. If that makes sense. Does that make sense? Yeah. So these two go really well together. So we practice concentrating and settling our minds. And that helps us then carry awareness through the day so that we can be fully present and conscious of what we do, what we say, and all of the internal thoughts and emotions that are constantly arising. So, let's now, what do you think? Should we try, how many minutes now?
Let's try 2.
Okay, now we're going to do 2 minutes. Should we also do walking meditation tonight? What do you think? Sure. Okay. So first we're going to do 2 more minutes. And we're going to do the we're going to do what I would say is kind of vipassana meditation. And so this technique is a little bit different. Your body is in the same way, your eyes are open, everything kind of same as before, but instead of bringing your attention to the exhale and using that form of just breathing as a support for awareness, we're going to just practice fully being present of what we hear, what we're seeing, the sensations in our body, the thinking of the mind, just as it is arising, noticing without conceptualizing. So bringing again the full spectrum of awareness where we are here right now. Everything, all your senses are wide open. And you've just rested in that present nowness. Your awareness isn't focused on any one place. Okay? And we'll try that for 2 minutes, okay? So hit it once and then hit it twice at the end, I'll tell you. Okay? How was that? That was good? What was good?
Just the focusing on just the breath, just
Mhm.
focusing on the sound of the gong.
Focusing on the breath and the sound of the gong. Yeah. When we start to meditate, I can tell you're a meditator, then you have the ability to focus your mind wherever you want and have it stay there, which is a great skill to have, right? When you're studying, that's probably helpful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you concentrate pretty well when you study?
Not all the time, but most of the time.
Most of the time? Yeah. Does he concentrate pretty well when he studies? He tries. kind of. He's working on it. That's great. That is great. I'm also working on that. So, some ways, one way I like to think about Vipassana meditation, insight, whatever we want to call it, is we're in the drama of our lives day to day, and suddenly, whenever we want, we can just kind of flip the camera back around and check in with the projector, which allows more choice then about the drama unfolding. Because you start to realize, in fact, that what you're experiencing is very, very much coming from your interpretations of all that you're perceiving. So what I really like is you said we should do that for 2 minutes. And this is a great technique. Short periods of time, but repeated again and again. And you know what that does? It gets new neural pathways going in our brain of concentration. Yeah?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I meditate for twice or once a day for 1 minute.
Twice or once a day, that's great. Yep. I think that's a really, really good way to do it. Like short time, but many times repeated. The only mistake I think that could be made is not to do it, right?
Yeah, because every day when we go to school every morning, sometimes when it's math time, which is around the half of the day, sometimes even the end of the day, we meditate because my teacher has one like that. It's like, is it cold? So he just rings it every morning before we start class, and we just meditate for a minute.
Great.
To get us focused and getting ready for the rest of the day.
Getting ready for the rest of the day. That sounds like a really, really smart technique. Is it bigger than that bowl?
No, it's about the same size.
Have you ever gotten the chance to hit that one too?
Yeah, I got to hit that one too.
You did? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, I noticed you're really, really good at hitting it. Yeah.
Because you meditate every day, so.
You meditate every day. Yeah, that's really the point. The point is to have some continuity of practice and experience. Because if we don't have that, then we don't have anything to kind of chew on and to think, all right, I feel stuck here, or this isn't working for me here, or I had this kind of experience. So the point of doing it every day is to give us experiences that then can deepen our practice. And that's, I think, one of the most important points about starting a practice of meditation. So whether it's like we turn the projector back around and look into, the person who was holding it, or we just get to jump up on the balcony and see kind of our life from a little bit more perspective, there's all kinds of benefits that come from that, right? So what I'd like to do, I think we should do one round the room walking meditation. Okay? You didn't try that one? Okay, do you want to try it? Yeah, okay. So we're going to just do one round of walking meditation. So everybody stand up. If you can, if it's not comfortable for you to do that, we'll go really slow, but you can also stay seated. It's your choice. And so this time, we'll just all kind of walk in a line, single file, and we'll just make one circle around the outside of the room. And here, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're focused our attention on the movement of our walking while maintaining our awareness of being in this big room with lots of colorful paintings and some statues of the Buddha and other people who are also walking around with us. In other words, we're combining concentrated focus of shamatha and insight of vipassana. So do you want to, you can hit it? And we'll go slow, but we won't go too slow, yeah? Okay, how about you set the pace? I'm going to go behind you, okay? So I'll say, go a little slower. Yeah. Good. Okay. So that was kind of an abbreviated triathlon. We got the sitting and the walking meditation in. We have a triathlete here among us. So that's why we were talking about triathlon. Um, so how was that?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah?
Yeah, a new way of meditation.
A new way of meditation, yeah. Mm-hmm. How much walking do you do every day?
At recess every day.
At recess? Mm-hmm.
Run around,
Yep. Yep.
walk to school, because sometimes I just walk from my school, because Sky several buildings, so sometimes I take a walk to my school.
Okay.
So,
Mm-hmm.
and I just
Yep.
gonna do.
Yeah, you can use that time. Yeah, the time when you're walking also as part of your practice. Yeah, to settle your mind, maybe to focus on something that you need to pay attention to in the day. How many people, right when we started walking, kind of like felt the concentration or your focus a little bit lost? Yeah. I noticed that right when I started walking, that because I'm a fast walker, I think we talked about this before, and I also, a lot of the times when I walk, I like to listen to music. I need a little bit of time in my day with my music, and that can also be a little bit of a distraction. So as we started walking, I noticed myself kind of speeding up, and like I wanted to get into my rhythm. So to intentionally slow our movement down and use also movement time as another opportunity to focus and concentrate and become aware of the larger environment is a great practice. It allows you then to arrive wherever you're going in a bit of a different state than if you are, say, just talking on your phone or listening to music or whatever the case is. It's a really nice way to practice meditation as well throughout the day, because we're always walking, just in the supermarket or onto a plane, as I did today. Yeah. So, are there any questions about meditation or experiences you'd like to share? Yeah.
So whenever you're doing meditation, do you always have to use the bowl?
That's a really good question. I think you don't. Yeah, you don't have to use the bowl every time you do meditation. Sometimes it is nice to have the little reminder, like, okay, now I'm starting, and depending on how long you want to do it, like if you want to do it for a couple minutes or 2 minutes, then when you want to end it. And there are some other techniques that you could use. Yeah, like a little bell, or you could ask your mom or your sister, to just like say, okay, start now. And then they're watching the clock and they say, okay, now it's time to stop. Yeah. And you don't even have to use anything if you don't have anything and don't want to.
Oh,
Yeah, that's also fine.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because I kind of want to start meditating throughout the day.
Yes. I think, the beauty of meditation is that you can do it anywhere. You can do it everywhere. You don't have to be sitting like this. Nobody needs to know that you're meditating. You can do it when you're walking. You can do it even when you're talking.
Oh,
If you're just completely concentrated on what you're saying and aware of the whole environment.
oh.
Yeah.
I've always been just doing meditating, just having the bell ring.
Yeah, you've been meditating with the bell. Yeah. The bell is nice because it's quite calming,
Yeah.
as you said.
Yeah, because my teacher, he has a little tiny one
Mm-hmm.
to get our attention, but it's supposed to be like each of the bowls have like their different purpose of what the ringing.
Yeah.
It's supposed to do to your for what it does to your mind.
Okay.
Because you said the big one is for like the emotions, and the tiny one is just like for your head.
Okay.
So you said like
Mm-hmm.
like each bowl
Mm-hmm.
can like give you like it has a different purpose.
Each bowl has a different purpose. Okay, I like that. Yeah. So the bigger bowl is maybe for emotions, to maybe calm you down, and the smaller bowl might call you to attention. Maybe something like that. Yeah. I think it's nice. I think it's nice to have a formal practice. And by formal I mean when you do just carve out some time in the day, no matter how many minutes it is, and sit with that intention. Now I'm going to meditate for this amount of time. And you mark the beginning and you mark the end. So some discipline, I think, is really important.
Discipline. I also do taekwondo.
You do taekwondo?
Yeah, and also
Wow.
like every time we're there,
Mhm.
we have a time when we just like focus.
When you focus, yep.
Just like a time of just quietness.
Yep.
Like
Yeah, like meditating.
You just have that time of focusing
Yep.
and thinking.
Yes, I think that's really important. And I bet for athletes as well, right? We have 2 people here who are in the field of sports psychology. So for high performing athletes, right, they've got to be fully concentrated and focused on what they're doing. So I can imagine meditation is really, really important for them as well. We're actually here going to be starting probably it'll be around a 6-week introduction to meditation course in January, and it'll meet weekly, and it's appropriate for everybody, beginners as well as people who have been meditating for a long time. We're going to go a little bit more in depth in some of the different techniques, and we're also going to ask everybody who's joining in on that to keep a daily meditation practice of 15 to 30 minutes. And so then we're going to use that as kind of collective experience that we discuss and explore together as part of that. So more details on that will be coming up, but you all are very warmly invited to join us in that. And that's like a coming event preview. Yeah. Other questions or reflections? Anything? It's great if you don't have to have the mic, but it's great if you have the mic, yeah. So people online can hear. Yeah.
I think that something that gets lost a lot with meditation is that it doesn't have to be seated. I had a professor in undergrad, and she talked about how, like, surfing, I went to school in San Diego, could be a form of meditation for people. And I think, especially for people who resonate with movement, it's okay to start there and then transition into a more formal practice if you want to.
Mm-hmm.
I used to ride my horse with my eyes closed a lot. And it was in times when I wasn't like paying attention to her or myself that I got in accidents. But like when I was really in tune and like fully trusting, that was when I had the most peaceful and honestly safe experiences. So
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so coming into more of a formal seated practice through using movement or a sport or an activity that one really, feels comfortable in. Great, yeah, for sure. I think allowing ourselves the permission to meditate in different places, different times, as you feel drawn to is also part of it, right? Because doing it is better than not doing it, right? Yeah. What's it like to be in a triathlon? Is that a meditative state?
For me, it is.
Yeah.
Personally, some people call me crazy, but I don't run with music.
Uh-huh.
Or like a lot of times when I exercise, I prefer not to listening to music.
Yeah.
I love running, and like a lot of times I just get lost in just like paying attention to my body, to my breath.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times if I'm listening to music, it like throws my concentration off from my breath,
Mm-hmm.
and then like that affects me and gets me more tired easier.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of times when I'm focusing on my breath or focusing on like how my feet are hitting the ground, the sound it's making, those things allow me to go more into kind of like a meditative and just like not focused on any thoughts in particular, just running.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I think it doesn't need to be stationary or anything in particular.
Yeah.
It can start from wherever you, a hobby or any activity you have. If you're like paying full attention to that thing in particular, you're experiencing some sort of
Yes.
mindfulness and meditation state in that sense.
Yeah, definitely. Do you call it the zone?
Kind of. I mean, I don't know if I can say that I've been too many times in a flow state.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times in races, you do kind of just like lose track of time, but
Yeah.
it's hard to like pinpoint what exactly feels like the zone or comfort zone. Whenever I know like I'm working out or running or things like that, my mind just like focuses on that in particular, and it's easier to just let all their thoughts and other issues in my life just like go away.
Yeah.
Pay attention to those.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think what I'm hearing as well is recognizing how that's possible in, doing things that you love, whether it's surfing or whether it's running, then allows you to bring the qualities of that focused concentration that's fully awake and aware into then other areas of your life that may be much less enjoyable, right? And allow you to become a lot more skillful. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like you said, it's just like it just like just the sound of nature could also be your source of meditation.
Yeah.
Listening, say if you're at the ocean, you can
Mm-hmm.
just to sit there and just like listen to the water, the waves splashing, or a nice spring morning of the birds chirping, water sprinklers. It's just that could be a form of meditation. It doesn't always have to be that, because there can be many forms of meditation, like we just went over,
Yes.
and it can be in many forms.
Thank you so much for that. That was beautiful. Yes, we can sit at the beach and let the sound of the water be inspiring for us to be in a state of meditation. Absolutely. Or we could, like my experience this morning, as I took a lift from my house in San Francisco to the airport, and I listened to the same commercial on the radio 4 times. It was a commercial about how every single member of the family could get an iPhone 11 for Christmas from this special offer of T-Mobile. And I couldn't believe that they were playing that ad 4 times without any 80s hits in between. And I did find myself a little bit irritated by that. So I was trying to use the sound of those advertisements on the radio as a chance to focus and still my mind. But the good part was at least I had the thought that I could use something irritating also as an impetus for meditation. Yeah.
Meditation can come in many forms.
It can definitely come in many forms.
Silence, the sound of nature,
Yes.
being irritated, it can always be a form of meditation.
That's right. The sound of being irritated. Yes. That's definitely a meditation that I like to work on.
Because like if you're mad, you can work on the meditation of just calming down,
Yep.
settling down,
That's right.
and just becoming just without anger and coming into peace, so that state of peace
Yeah.
of your mind.
Yes, that is so wise. You can. I think part of what meditation helps us do is realize when we are mad, be aware of the emotions that we're having when we're having them, right? Yeah. Yeah, thank you so much. Other questions or thoughts? Yeah, yeah.
I'm back.
Great.
I'm interested in the psychology of injury, and I wanted to ask you about meditation and pain,
Mm-hmm.
physical or emotional, and what has your experience been, and what's your perspective on that?
That's a big question, and it's a really important question. Some teachers that I work with are quite skilled in understanding the connections between a meditation practice or a practice of mindfulness and trauma. And so for some people and in some instances, in fact, a meditation practice can trigger past trauma. And so that's something to be aware of, I would say, for anybody who wants to start seriously practicing and uncovering perhaps deeper emotional experiences that they've had, which is a natural part of practice that can come out. So I would say, on one hand, it could be a catalyst for experiences of trauma re-arising, and at the same time, it provides a really powerful technique for releasing trauma as well. And so I would say, kind of psychological hurt or pain. It's both, there's like a two-sided aspect to it. In terms of physical pain, and I would say personally, I also have a lot of experience with that. Here, as it's probably obvious, we're in a Tibetan Buddhist temple, and so from a perspective of training in Buddhist philosophy, we do something called close mindfulness of the body, which is a kind of practice that mentally dissects each part of the body, and and we do it kind of on our body, on our emotions, what we think of as our emotions, and then also feelings, and feelings in that sense of actually pleasurable feelings, painful feelings, or just like neutral feelings, or it would really kind of meet sensations, is the word I would use. To dissect them such that they lose quite the intensity of the force with which we may be experiencing them. So it's a meditation essentially on, if you will, the lack of any true essence to those sensations. And that's a very, very helpful technique when you have intense physical pain. Yeah, and it works. I've used that a lot. Yeah, I don't know if that's helpful.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Also a form of meditation is like a source of happiness,
Mm-hmm.
Like whenever you're doing something fun, say with family, friends,
Yeah.
or just any part of anything that brings you happiness, that could also be a form of meditation, because you're bringing yourself to peace
Yeah.
of when you're having that form of happiness.
Yeah.
So if you're like hanging out with your friends or with your family, that can bring you a source of happiness, which can bring you into that state of peace.
That's right. Yes, it can. And some of the things that we're going to explore in the 6-week course that we do here, and I use this word now, meditation, almost a little bit more like contemplation. Sometimes we use the word meditation also to mean contemplation, but we're going to do different contemplations on our own and other people's happiness. And so kind of how we can become happy by wishing others to be happy.
Yeah, like if just like you said, and with the trauma could also bring you a state of meditation, bring you, and same with happiness, because then you're gonna bring yourself back to yourself.
Yeah.
Just at the state of peace.
Yes. Yes, and this is the core, I would say, message of the practice of shamatha, peaceful abiding. It's actually settling into your own natural state of peace.
And also and also another way of that is also maybe a smell, a taste.
Yeah.
Because if it's like a smell of something that's like, say, your favorite food.
What's your
Like-
favorite food?
I don't really know, actually.
Okay.
Well, if it's like your favorite food, then you get that sensation of that smell that you love.
Yeah.
Like coming back to what I said of how happiness brings you peace, it can bring you that smell of just the smell that you love.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
and also taste. If it's also say again like your favorite food, if you taste it, you come into
Then you're
this,
even
like,
more,
yeah, it's like
right,
it's
than
so
the
good,
smell.
You know? Yeah.
right?
Yeah. So it also that can also be a form of just like becoming relaxed and
Yep.
yeah.
Yes, I love that you just brought that point up, that in fact we can use any of the objects of all of our senses to bring us back to ourself, and we can do that all the time. And we can use those objects whether they're enjoyable or whether they're unpleasant also, right? As kind of our cues to bring the attention inward. Yeah. And that's when we connect inward, that is where we find peace.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to find peace externally.
And also just like how we were back to like doing different things to bring you peace, like art. That can also be a form, and also I forgot, but
Music?
yeah, also a source of music too.
Yeah.
Because it's just the sound of that brings you to peace. Anything can really bring you to peace, even to a place like
Yes.
a temple.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
or just a sight of something, say like flowers, just like the sight of something that is enjoyable to look at.
Yeah.
That can also bring a state of peace.
Thank you. This is such wonderful, wonderful contributions from you. I'm so happy that you came tonight. Will you come again?
Having me. If they let me.
We can ask Mom. We need to consult with Mom and Big Sis. Yeah. But we'd love to have you back again. Yeah. Thank you so much. Would anyone else like to share anything or other questions? We do meditation here every Thursday night. And this is a place everybody's welcome. It's, as you can see, it's a Buddhist temple. But our Thursday nights are, I would say, secular meditation. So not specifically in the Buddhist tradition. We're really talking about a practice of sitting and focusing, and then expanding our awareness
And also just like
and finding peace.
yeah.
Yeah.
And also just like if you like can't sleep, like just laying down in your bed,
Uh-huh.
like just looking into if it's just looking into your window at the night sky, or just even just looking at your roof in the dark,
Yeah.
like that, just like is also it just like brings you to a relaxed state of you becoming tired
Yes.
and just becoming in peace again, and just a state
Can you
of,
say that again? So that when you can't sleep, it's also good for insomnia.
yeah, it's just if it's like dark, it brings you in just in your comfortable bed. You can come to your state of being just relaxed
Yeah.
and nothing to really worry about until the
Yeah.
next day, because it's just another day.
That's, yep, I do. That is really, really important. One of the teachers in our tradition said, if you have a problem and there's a solution to your problem, then you don't need to worry about it because there's a solution to it, right? And if you have a problem and there's no solution, there's no way it can be fixed, then you also don't need to worry about it because there's no solution. So why worry about it?
Why worry about it if there's nothing to worry about?
Yeah, why worry about if there's nothing to worry about? That is great. I think we need to give him a hand, really. Thank you so much. Yeah, what a great meditation tonight.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you for coming. Please come back. We just love having you here. And you can do the gong every single time you come.
Okay, I'll make sure I'll
Okay?
do that.
I promise. Okay, well, if there's nothing more, then we will conclude for tonight. And thank you so much, everybody, for coming. Yeah, please join us again. Go in peace. Go meditate in peace.